All right, let's go ahead and tick and talk. Evas World 111. She says down here at the bottom, am I stupid? Yes. Do I care? No. Am I going to stop? Also no. I'll let you draw your own conclusions on that. Let's hear it.
Sure how relatable this is going to be for my viewer demographic,
Oh, I think it's going to be pretty relatable regardless of viewer demographic.
but I need to talk about the debt that I'm swimming and drowning in
Yes, the $200,000 debt. Yes. Let's hear it.
and the anxiety that I have every day. Horrible anxiety because of it.
Young people, are you noting this? Horrible anxiety. Now, do you see this on a college brochure? Take out student loans and experience horrible anxiety.
Now, me personally,
Mhm.
I am almost, I'd say about $200,000 in debt total.
About 200. So that could give or take 10,000, 20,000. About. See, if you're ever going to try to be debt free, you can never go about. Right? Ask people how much they paid for a car. Most people tell you, I paid 20,000, blah, blah, and change. But when it comes to a student loan, what do we say? We think it's about. The fact that it's sitting in a near, what is it? We got here 200,000. It's probably higher than that if you're thinking about interest and all that stuff.
With all my student loans and credit card debt and
Oh, we got the credit card debt too. All right, so it's a race to the bottom.
other debt. So,
Mhm.
like, and I know
Hey, her camera may be shaky, but what she's saying is pretty solid.
I chose to go to NYU. I don't regret it at all.
Okay, you know why you don't regret it? You don't regret it because you can't take back that choice. There is no, I have yet to hear a video, and I have watched a lot of these, and I've read countless stories over the 16 years that I've had student loans. Actually, 18 years I've held student loan debt. And I've yet to hear a person say, you know, I attended this school and I absolutely regret ever having attended this school and I regret ever paying the money. Most will say, hey, I love the school. I don't regret going there, but man, it sure was expensive and I kind of regret perhaps the path I took.
I loved living in New York City. I loved NYU, and
Yes, who doesn't love NYU? It's a designer school.
we all knew I was crying about it like 2 years ago when I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to be in debt after I graduate."
Now, you see, we're crying about it because we didn't think about it before we went to school. It's not just Eva here. It's not just Eva. It's all of us. I fell into that, crying. Well, I didn't really cry up many tears over it, but yeah, it's because we don't think about it before we go. And it happens at all ages. It happens at all ages.
But now that we have to like pay it back,
Yeah, it's that part. It's the payback part. Unless, of course, you're on federal loan forgiveness, right? Public service work.
I'm
So
extremely alarmed and really scared and terrified.
how could we possibly avoid this, young people or people of any age? How can we avoid the anxiety, the terror? You don't see this on a college brochure. Always remember this. They're going to show you all the Wi Fi outlets that they have so you don't have to walk back to your car. They're going to show you how wonderful the rec room is, how awesome and updated the gym is. They're going to show you that the fine dining in the dorm is a five-star restaurant. They're not going to show you the person taking Tylenol on the therapist couch afterwards having anxiety because they can't sleep and they didn't figure out how they were going to pay for that NYU education. But again, I address you to the bottom down here where my mouse is, right here underneath her name. Am I stupid? Yes. Very honest. Do I care? No. Then why are you making a TikTok video about anxiety if you don't actually care? And are you going to stop? No. Then I guess the anxiety continues.
And like, obviously, living in New York is really, really expensive.
But you knew that before you went to the school, I'm assuming.
So I have a lot of credit cards that I'm pretty much maxed out on. So don't really have any credit.
But I, again, remind the audience of her little jingle down here at the bottom. You can read it again with me if you wish. Am I stupid? Yes. Do I care? No. Am I going to stop? Also, no. If you're not careful, you become what you think and what you write about yourself. Something to consider.
That I can use, and my credit score sucks because of that, and because
But do you care? No. Am I going to stop? No. We could do this all night, young lady.
my loans. So that's really cool. Also, I just took literally like the first job I was offered after I graduated because I didn't have a job. And
And a lot of this is why students remain in debt is because, excuse me, they have so much student loan to pay back that they're almost forced to take any job that they can get, which therefore keeps them from being able to look for the actual career job that they wanted. Days turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into years. They never actually do the job they said they were going to do, and they took any job. When you are forced to take any job because you are needing to pay back your student loans and other debt, okay, that doesn't allow you the time that you need to actually get into the career if you want. And did you research the career that you were wanting to go into? Okay, something to think about, right?
and debt, credit cards, medical bills, and they're paying me literally the bare minimum.
Well, of course they're going to pay you the minimum because you took any job you wanted. If I were to go outside and just start applying randomly, which is probably what you did, okay, you got to remember this, young people. The jobs that you want, the jobs that you majored in, take time to get. They take time. And a lot of young people, I'm not going to say this is all their fault, but a lot of young people, you're living on Amazon Prime delivery speed. You're now entering the real world, and in the real world, it's not overnight delivery of the career of your dreams. It's not the dream house you want right off the bat. Okay? It takes time to work that stuff up.
The bare minimum. But I wanted to move back to New York City as soon as possible because I wanted to. Like, what 24-year-old doesn't want to go back to living on their own? Like, I don't want
Well, you can live on your own in a city that doesn't cost what New York costs. One of the most expensive places in the world to live in.
to live with my parents, no offense.
But, by your own admission, do you care? No. And are you going to stop? No.
So I'm going to do that because I love New York City. So I know what you're thinking. Wow, you're really crazy because you're
No, I'm not thinking that you're crazy. I'm actually not thinking much but drinking my Pepsi.
in that much debt and you're going to go move to the most expensive city in the world. Yes, yes, I am.
Well, then don't complain about your anxiety. Don't complain about how expensive everything is. Hey, I'm just doing this reaction literally as I watch this, okay? I played about the first 30 seconds and thought, why not?
With that being said, more than half of my monthly income will be going towards my rent.
Let me give you some snaps for that. But let me remind you at the bottom, are you stupid? Yes. Do you care? No. Are you going to stop? No.
So I have to get a second job to work in order to live in New York City.
Why does this stress you out? Seriously, I would ask you, why does this stress you out? If you're not going to change or adapt your life so you can have less stress and more income, then should we feel badly for you? It's just something to think about. Look, when somebody is making decisions that stress them out and they say, I'm stressed out, I'm hurting, my money's going towards here, I'm having to take on a second job, my heart bleeds for you until you tell me, but I don't care, I'm just going to keep doing it. And it's like, well, okay, then maybe you're not that stressed out. You've not hit rock bottom if you can continually go back to what it is that's stressing you out. So Eva's not hit rock bottom yet.
And still, with that second job, I'm going to be struggling to pay my bills.
You are not struggling to pay your bills if you are choosing to move back to one of the most expensive cities in the world because you think that's the cool and hip thing for a 24-year-old to do. I'm just being honest.
And then, not how am I going to have fun? Like, what?
I'm trying to figure out, Eva, are you giving me kind of mixed messages here? You're going, okay, feel bad for me because I'm stressed out doing two jobs. I got no money, yada, yada, yada. Okay. You want us to feel bad for you, but yet it's like, hey, you know what? This fire pit's burning me up, but it feels so good. I think I'll make a second pit and jump in.
Like, going out to dinner one night cost me like $100.
Wow. And that's because you're choosing to live in a really expensive city? Or maybe that was an expensive city. Maybe that was a cheap city and you just have high taste. You, at 24 years old, have spent $100 on dinner. I am 56 years old. I have never spent $100 on dinner in any place, time of my life. Yeah, I've had a couple bankruptcies. I'll admit that. Okay, so, but I at least found my way out of the fire pit. But I can honestly tell you, no, I've never spent $100 on dinner at any time, ever. And at 24, you feel you are entitled to $100 dinners.
And don't even get me started on the medical bills because I
It only gets worse the older you get. Wait till your knees have arthritis.
keep getting these notices that I have to pay like $20 for an appointment I went to like 2 years ago.
Yes, yes. Medical bills spring up like weeds.
And then they're like, we're going to send you to collections.
Yes, they will. And the way you avoid that, Eva, is pay something. Always. The minute you find you have a medical bill, I don't care if you give them $10. Give them $10 every 2 weeks. What you don't want to do is just ignore it. Medical bills, as difficult as they can be, are also some of the best bills as long as you are in communication. They sent you to collection, sweetheart, because they probably sent you a bill, but you were too busy saying, am I stupid? Yes. Do I care? No. Am I going to stop? No. You were too busy with that attitude, so therefore you didn't respond to the initial bill, and then they sent you to collections. If you had responded to the initial bill from the initial person that you owed and said, look, I'm flat broke, I can send you $10 a month, and you sent them $10 a month, my recommendation, because I've been there, is send something every other week, because a month seems like a long time to go by. But if you're shooting them $10 every other week on payday, $10, they won't send you to collections. Very, very unlikely.
So,
By the way, if you think about $100 dinners, okay, that's 10 medical bill payments at $10, right?
that is fun. I also have a dentist appointment next week, and they're going to literally be like, you have 8 cavities.
Good Lord, woman, hold the phone still.
So,
8 cavities. Guess what? It gets worse the older you get too. Wait till they give you those root canals. And then you say, well, how much is the bill? And they say something like $1,800. And you're like, well, how much is insurance? And they're like, that is after insurance. And that, by the way, Miss Eva, is assuming you can get a job with insurance. Yes.
looking forward to that bill as well. But yeah, like I really just want to cry and
Why are you wanting to cry? I don't get it. You say you want to go live in a really expensive city. You want to afford $100 dinners. You don't regret going to NYU. There's nothing to cry about if you're not going to change your life so you can make better decisions. And for God's sakes, women, change that handle at the bottom. I am a stupid. Yes. Do I care? No. Am I going to stop? I don't see no tears there.
scream and throw up all day, every day.
But you say you don't care. I'm trying to figure out where. See, I would feel just horrible for you, okay? If it's like, or I'd feel horrible for this woman if she was like, you know what? I made a huge mistake, a horrible mistake. And, if I had to do it again, well, I might still have wanted to go to NYU. I might have realized that after we take on the $200,000 loan, okay, student loan, that with interest and all that, I could be looking at, two and a quarter, $250,000 student loan debt.
And I
Hey, I bet in New York, $200,000 might buy you a parking space without the car and without the tiny home to outfit it.
don't know if anyone can relate, but I'm going to be
Oh, yeah, people can relate. The difference is what they might not be able to relate to is your nonchalant, I don't care attitude. And you have that right, by the way, young lady. You have the right to say, F it with the world. I don't care. I'm doing my thing. Just don't cry when the consequences come.
in debt for the rest of my life. So, my
Yes, statistically, yeah, you will. You most likely will. This is going to be a near impossible debt to pay off.
as well live it up in New York City
So you can get into further debt.
and go into more debt.
Ah, and I think with that, oh, I love it. I did not listen, just like with the other videos that I do not listen to it except for maybe the last, maybe with TikTok about the first 30 seconds or so, and that's it. All right, well, I think that's enough for tonight. Let's upload the sucker. Have a beautiful Monday night. Bye.